So, I said a couple of videos ago or something. There's no other video today, sorry. I don't feel like it, but I do feel like this. So let's talk about the monk, but how to fix it. Because the monk is a weird character that exists in this odd thematic limbo. Like, where does the monk fit in? Who knows? There's just monasteries now, I guess. There's suddenly the Eastern philosophy of ki and life force and flowing veins you can punch. That's weird, isn't it? That's kind of weird, especially when you got clerics who can smack, sugar smack your life back into you. When you can come back to life with the druid's help. I'm just saying, there might be some... But let's take the class, and let's think real long and hard about this. Well, for one, I put a couple of appeals here. Something you want to read if you really want to read it. But let's go over the several different ways you can interpret a monk and their skill set. First and foremost, the wrestler and the brawler. They're basically the same thing. Essentially, you really go double down on that unarmed ability. Your ability to fight without weapons doesn't necessarily have to be without weapons. The brawler is a little bit more weapon-oriented. The wrestler is, you are hand-to-hand, let's just go down. You go for every single opportunity to grapple your opponent and pin him to the ground or throw him around or give him a good old 1-2 punch combo before you go and give him a headbutt. Like, you're essentially the monk in the rawest sense. You're the unarmed strike kind of person. You're probably going to fight in a fair field. You're probably going to fight with some degree of honor. You're going to use your charisma to really lay it down on, really go, hey, lean in a bit, give him a bit of the nasty eye. If you pull it off well, you might just get your GM to might butter up a GM, which, as I've been taught by Dark Souls, is a great way to do. Fun fact, I just got a comment from someone who's like, hey, play more Dark Souls. I'm like, I'm not the person you want to have play more Dark Souls. No. But the wrestler is straightforward. What do you do with a wrestler? Well, you wrestle things. You're great in one-on-one fights, but you're kind of terrible. Well, actually, no. If you know what you're doing in a multiple player enemies fight, you can isolate enemies or neutralize singular targets. Like, you're the guy that runs past everyone and wrestles the mage with his inability to wrestle to the ground and make sure that he can't cast any spells. And everyone's like, yay! The monk, who can take so much damage and still has massive evasion, can just basically take care of this dude while we just sit here and go, so, what's up, Doc? The brawler's a bit different. The brawler, oh, you're going to like the brawler. I want you to think about a bar scene. You're sitting at the bar, you have the smell of charcoal, of steaks in the air. You're sipping your sips, and suddenly, crash! A table gets flipped, a chair gets thrown, but you're already there. You turn around and throw your beer bottle at the nearest assailant, then pick up your bar stool and just go buck wild. I love the idea of the brawler. I love the idea of a character who doesn't need weapons. What is your weapon? Who cares? You don't use it half the time. Half the time you take their weapons, you smack them in the head with their scabbards, you take their bags and you choke them out with the... It's the character who's just always ready. Maybe you got into this by accident. Like, the wrestler's something more deliberate. Not necessarily too deliberate. Maybe you just like the old-fashioned ancient style of the Romans. But as a brawler, you're just a dude who fights. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe you just know how to fight. Maybe it's your combat style. But the point is, your character just goes in for the fight, goes in for the kill. Heck, I think that wrestler and brawler, you can easily say, well, you're not lethal. You're not going to kill anyone. You're just here to stop the fighting from happening anymore. And I just think about that idea of the brawler, right? Like, every single good kung fu scene has that point. Every good, like Jackie Chan especially. Watch Jackie Chan. Where people use, like, the environment around them and what people are wearing and use it against them. Like, people so often forget, wait, is he wearing, like, a lot of straps? And it's like, of course he's wearing a lot of straps. We're playing high fancy. Well, it just so happens that I picked a meat hook off the wall. I'm going to hook him by the straps and throw him across the room. That's Call of Cthulhu-style fighting, but it's great, because it suddenly makes the environment feel real. It makes the characters feel real. It gives the NPC a certain je ne sais quoi that you can exploit. And suddenly, it's not you're rolling for an attack. Your character is literally rolling to try and flip this dude a pancake. You can see that in your head. I know you can see it, because I'm also in your head. And I know that you also kind of want the brawler to have a weapon. Well, if you're going to give the brawler a weapon, here's one thing you gotta do. With every one of these classes, you're gonna consider you might want a weapon. It's kind of like, sure, you got on strike damage, but if you're a brawler, if your whole point is brawling, you're gonna want a cestus. You're gonna want something to put on your fist, because your guy's knuckles can take it, but at some point you want the cestus. But you also use your elbows and knees. No. Thematically speaking, if you're the brawler, you're gonna go on dukes. You're gonna go put them dukes up. And use those for the primary part of it. So you're going to want some cestus. Just say with your GM that the damage doesn't change, but you wear it. Like, you have to put it on in order to really deliver those blows, or you start wearing your fingers down. Like, give yourself some negatives. Give yourself some character. Give yourself limitations. Like, yes, you're a heroic brawler who somehow is able to punch the undead into the next world. But doesn't mean your hand doesn't hurt from punching them all the time. Like, after the fight, you're like, ah, and you rub vigorously over your knuckles as they're all bleeding and bruised. But hey, did it. You're the gritty guy that everyone's like, oh man, you're so cool because you actually took battle damage instead of just taking this abstract concept of HP damage. Next up is the Holy Warrior. So monks are monks, right? Like they at least in Pathfinder, they have history knowledge and they have knowledge, history, and knowledge in religion. Now that means that they know their shit, at least when it comes to religions and gods and all that stuff. So naturally, why wouldn't they be a holy warrior? Why wouldn't their energies, their powers, be a divine gift? I've already talked about this. Like, the cleric is such a good monk because it makes more thematic sense. You didn't go to a monastery. You were just in a cloister, and you were trained and given divine powers. Like, over time, energies were pushed into you permanently, attached to your body, giving you this tremendous strength, this enormous speed, this unstoppable vigor to fight. And all this agility is just part of your divine blessing. And in return, you've been given a single mission. Like, you did this all for your god, but he's also like, I need to see and make sure that your powers are tempered. So you're given a divine mission of some sort. Like some tiny objective you have to do. Just like, your GM says, like, okay, in order to earn your god's favor forever, in order to keep all the powers you've earned, you need to kill a necromancer. Like, you need to find a necromancer and kick his ass on your own. Suddenly you have this character incentive of like, oh, undead nearby. Like, your character will be like, oh man, I want to go there. Suddenly you have a drive to do something. And after you kill him, the god says, well, this is what I ordain you to do. This is what your continuous mission is going to be. Is it going to be to help people? Is it going to be to stop fraud? Like, give him something specific that isn't just helping people. And suddenly, man, I don't know why my airways are a bit clogged. But if you give someone like an objective, like, give him something specific. Don't say, do good. Say, feed the starving. And suddenly your character, whenever they go to an inn, is like, buy a round for everyone here who can't afford it. Bam! Your character suddenly has a personality and something to do every time he comes into a village. I just like that idea. Maybe it's like, stop fraud, like, be inevitable. And your character is like, this contract sounds fishy, and you start helping people that are in, like, wage debts and all. And that's cool. Ain't that just a hoot? It's a big ol' hoot. Now, the parkour expert is a bit different. Oh yeah, the wannabe paladin. So if you're going to be this, you might want to consider getting a little bit clerical paladin powers, like a little bit of divine power, so that you're a little more of a channeler of the gods, like maybe multi-class 1 or 2 levels. Like, sure, you don't want to multi-class spellcasters too much, but if you do paladin, you're not going to miss out on too much. You're going to have that little extra flavor to your character. You're going to have that aura of good, like, clearly you're divine. Like, maybe make it so that when you accomplish your mission, you just get a free level of, like, paladin features. You might say, but that's over. No. So, like in Pathfinder, okay? Like, when you get that free level of paladin, what it really means is you get this. You get your smites per day, you get your detective, you get your aura good. Whatever belongs to your god, you get that. Because you've proven yourself, and the god's like, okay, you're a cool guy. Here you go. And doesn't that just make you go, man, I really want to do this now, because there's something cool waiting for me. And maybe you could say, well, over time you get spells. Like, you just get some tiny little spell casting. Because here's the thing. In a good campaign, I think a character becomes more than their class. They get powers that don't necessarily work with their class, because they're powers they've accumulated over time. Like, suddenly the wizard can use a katana. It doesn't help him, because he's not a melee fighter, but he can use it. And suddenly he has a signature weapon that no other wizard can use. Maybe your fighter gets mage armor. Like, he doesn't need it, but if he ever gets into trouble, he has mage armor to pull up its sleeve. Like, give characters these permanent trump cards they pick up. Let them retrain their class features. You know, something fun that makes them go, I'm unique. Like, no other fighter has this. Well, some other might, but they have it in, like, a wand, or they got it from another reason. Like, this is what my character is. Like, this is what shaped them. This is how they learned. Like, I love it when people are like, I want to learn one specific spell. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, they might be min-maxing. But if they're min-maxing, it's because their character needs to understand why they're doing this. They're like, okay, this spell can help me a lot. Like, if I get shield, I can do my shield away. I'm protected from force missiles. Isn't that just great? Like, your character would naturally be like, I want to learn shield. And I'm like, okay, just pay half your allowance and bada bing, bada boom. You're all squared in there, kiddo. So the parkour expert. I like the parkour expert for one reason. Monks get slow fall and all that cool stuff, right? Let's just take a look at the monk. Where's the monk at? Actually, look Monk Unchained a bit more, so let's look at Monk Unchained too. Monk Unchained is great. I recommend it if you want to go for something cool. Unchained classes. It's a bit different, but it takes away the big chunk of the flurry of blows, because flurry of blows is straightforward now. So what do you get? You get your key powers. But your body is good. Like if you're a parkour master, naturally your body's like trained and honed to a razor's edge. But what's more important is if you're a parkour, like you get the slow fall stuff, you know? I guess it's key powers here. Here's slow fall. You get your high jumps, you get your slow falls, you get your movement speed increases, you get your AC bonus, which is you being able to evade and dodge. You get so much that makes sense for someone who just runs around the city a bunch. Like everything else incidental, like you punch good because you have to punch through obstacles as you're running down the hallway. Your body is strong because you've been all over the place. You've been up, you've been down, you've been in sewers, you've been in shitholes, quite literally. Your body is getting better because you treat it well, because you nourish your body. Yeah, this is such a shitty version. But this version is much better because it's like you get 3 attacks at plus 20 at the end. Isn't that great? Isn't that so much easier than this fucking bullshit? And your willpower is low. I don't know why. I guess it's because you already get wisdom, so it's like, eh. I like that idea. I like this so much more. Like, look at how much nice this is. Also, originally I thought that this is like the maximum bonus you could get. No, that's a bonus on top of your wisdom. That really explained why my monks tended to suck. Oh, man. Because it's just... I don't know. Also, a lot of people tend to forget an important part on the unarmed blow, unarmed strike. They count as weapons. Which means you can enhance it. Yes. It's something that I didn't know. That I was like, oh, that actually explains why monks kind of blow. They can get flaming punches, people. They can get flaming punches. Returning punch would be weird, though. Point is, as a parkour expert, you just run around. You just have a blast. You can easily say, well, I'm going to put away these combat feats and this kind of stuff because they don't fit the character, and you just exchange them. I love it when people say, I want to exchange one class feature for another. And I ask why, and their answer isn't because it would help my stats. Their answer is because, you know, he's a parkour expert, but he's also kind of a mage, like he's a sorcerer on the side. So I'll say, okay, you can exchange some minor spellcasting features. Like your character really likes jumping around, so you get some bard spells in there. I hate the Bard class, by the way. The Bard class is so goddamn busy. It's so goddamn busy. It doesn't need to be. I like the Bards. I like their spell list, but I don't like anything else about the Bard, which makes me so angry. Ugh. Haven't played Sorcerer in a while. Really should make a Sorcerer character just to get the feel for it, because I don't think I've done that in... whatever. Not that I get to use them. I don't get to play as much as I do, especially not as a player. That's also a thing, by the way. If my Patreon does actually grow up, and I do get a community, which I probably won't. Be great, though! Hello, future person who knows whatever or not I've gotten a community. If I've gotten one in like a few years, put a post down and maybe I'll say, hello, congratulations, you're part of it. So, let's move on. If my Patreon goes, I'm gonna do. I might do like I pull some names out of a hat, and I'm like, okay, you people, you wanna join up for a D&D game? I'll put up a specific category for like, if you want to be D&D, here, go in this category, and I'll draw your name out of a hat, and if you have all the things necessary, we'll jump into a small game or something. I don't know. I just like the idea of, like, Nerdarchy does it, right? Like, Nerdarchy does this thing where they sometimes have, like, people coming by. I'm like, okay, I want that. I live in Europe, though. Timing is going to be ass. Oh, timing's going to be ass. It's going to be great. I love it. I love it already. It's not going to happen for months, but I'm loving it already. So, the Thief. What is Le Thief? The Thief is as straightforward as it gets. You're a monk who uses all their parkour powers to steal stuff. Now, the parkourist is just doing it for the sport. The Thief does it because you want to get doing this. It's very similar to... There's a lot of, like, overlap between these things. Because the monk is, despite being diverse, kind of focused. The Thief has their powers because they want to. Because they need them. Because they are trying to make their money. They don't need tools. They have their hands. And because they don't have tools, they don't need tools. Because they can do it all with their own little fingers. They're light. They easily travel. They can run out the city by the time you count them. You can't catch them because they're too fucking fast. Like, why doesn't the rogue get a speed boost? Why does the barbarian get one? I don't know. But here's your character. Here's your thief. Look at him. Look at this thief. Do monks get any of the stealth classes? They get acrobatics. They get stealth. Why aren't the monks the rogues? Why aren't the monks the rogues, huh? Like, they get all this... They can move quickly. Like, I know stealth halves your speed, but that just makes this all the stronger. Doesn't it? Like, why doesn't anyone think about this? Why doesn't anyone go, well, like, the monk needs to be the sneaky guy? Well, because he's a monk, he's a kung fu. No. I want you to take that thought. I want you to take that thought and put it aside. We're in bad builds territory. I don't care. I want to make characters that make your DM go, wow, it's something new. It's not terribly original, but at least it's something else. I mean, sometimes being unoriginal is great. Like, don't take bad builds as, like, criticism of being stereotypical. Stereotypical stuff is great. It has its place. It can be jolly good fun to just be a lawful good paladin with a lawful good fighter, a lawful good wizard, and a lawful good cleric, and just bash some skulls in and have some fun in the dungeons. But at some point, if you want to try something new, that's when you come to bad builds. That's when you come crawling back to me, and you'll beg. And I'll be here saying, man, stop begging. Please just get up. I don't care. I love the turnaround. Not everyone appreciates that style of humor, and that's just why I get into a lot of trouble, and I feel kind of bad about that. I really use this stuff to ramble, which is why I kind of want to do long plays. I just want to do commentary-less gameplay. Also because I look like an idiot 90% of the time. Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. If I ever get a drum set, it's going to be great. Actually, we have a drum set. I'm just not having it in my room right now. It's in someone else's room, and it's also not mine. The archaeologist. So with all this, you got the parkour stuff, you got the wrestling stuff. Why the hell isn't the monk like the archaeologist, the Indiana Jones of the party? Give him, oh man, I love this. Give him some roguish abilities, like a little bit more rogue, and suddenly you have this character that just works. Suddenly you have this buccaneering monk who swings from rope to rope, brawling his way out of fights. Like Indy brawls a lot, doesn't he? He pulls out his gun sometimes, but mostly he brawls. I imagine he brawls. I don't know. Now that I think about it, I don't know that detail. Point is, a lot of heroes brawl. So you have a guy who can jump, who can brawl, who can make his way across a whole dungeon, has the eyes and ears to detect it. Why aren't the archaeologists? Get access to some whips and some grappling tools and maybe a gun if your GM is really generous. And bada bing, bada boom! Indiana Jones is a monk. He punches most of the time, but other times he just pulls out his gun and he shoots you down. Except that guns in Pathfinder are kind of risky business. Yeah, but you can do cool stuff with that, can't you? The answer is yes, you can do real cool stuff with that. So, I guess that's all I had to say today. Sorry there's no Stardew Valley today. I'm really sorry about that. I'm also really sorry that I keep thinking Como's grumpy, because he always goes all over the place. It makes me go, oh no. Because I can't pick up on cues very well. I should probably end this video.